Hi, my name is Matt Scott, and I'm a freelance trombone player and teacher in the Atlanta area. First, with this etude, let's go ahead and realize that the entire rhythmic structure is based upon the rhythm in the very first measure. This rhythm occurs 6 times throughout this etude. Let's then go ahead to the second measure and look at this very same rhythm, but with some pretty extreme dynamic contrast in it. This same dynamic contrast with this rhythm is located 4 times throughout this etude. So it's very important that we are able to master this dynamic contrast with this rhythm and transfer it throughout this etude. That will help us master the entire etude. So let's go ahead and take bar 2 and play this exact same rhythm and exact same dynamic contrast on a B flat on top of the staff, focusing on those 2 things, as well as having consistent articulation throughout these dynamic contrast. Now the tendency is always going to be to have a softer, slightly mushier tongue in the softer dynamics, and a slightly more aggressive, in-your-face tongue in the louder dynamics. What we're striving for is something right in the middle, focusing on a crisp and consistent articulation in front to all of these notes. Once you've done this several times on a B flat on top of the staff and you're comfortable with your articulations and you're comfortable with your dynamic contrast, go ahead and move to the notes that are written on the page. The only thing that's different is you're adding a fast slide to this exercise. Next, let's go ahead and look at the articulation and style markings throughout this etude. For example, let's take measure 1. The very first 8th note with the accent over it should be played very differently than the 8th notes on beats 2 and 3. The very first 8th note should have a little bit more weight on the front and a little bit longer length on the note. Rather than in beats 2 and 3, the note should be about 50% note, 50% space. This exact same figure occurs quite a few times throughout this etude, so it's important that we keep this consistent. Also, let's go ahead and look in measures 12 and measures 15 at these 4/16th notes that occur that have the first 2 as tenuto and the second 2 as staccato. Now it's very important that we make a difference in these 2 articulations. So when we're looking at this, let's make sure that we sing it a couple times. To-do-to-to-to, to-do-to-to-to, and slow it down a little bit. To-do-to-to-to, to-do-to-to-to. So do that in your playing as well. Play a little bit slower and then gradually speed it up. And finally, let's look at the second to last bar where we have our only 2 marcatos in the entire etude. Now, what a marcato really is, it's a combination of a staccato, the length of a staccato, and an accent, the weight of an accent. So making sure that these are weighted, but also have a good amount of space. One thing I did to help emphasize this is I put a very, very slight retardando in the last few beats of the etude. Now, next when you're looking at this etude, it's very important that we don't get a little bit stodgy and a little bit heavy, because I know a lot of our tendencies as trombone players. So as you're playing this, try and have a forward momentum to everything that you play, especially when we play across the bar lines. Anytime that you have an 8th note leading into beat 1, or you have any kind of a 16th note run leading into beat 1, really give us that forward momentum. So good luck and happy practicing.